Yeah, okay, so everybody seems to be saying that you can see it now, and yes, you can all still hear me, so that's a good start. Okay, so it's literally nearly 1 o'clock now, I think, probably seconds to go. So I think I'll make a start. I can see that there are people that have jumped on, and it is dead on 1 o'clock now. So basically what I'm going to do today, I'm going to make a project for you that's from ScanNCut Canvas, and the project is obviously in the free projects. But what I'm doing, I'm combining two projects. I just want to show you in Canvas Workspace where they are, and then I'm going to flip over to my other desk and show you what I've started to do, because I have started to make the project and put some of it together. Otherwise we'd be here on Maker's Facebook page all day. So basically, once you're in Canvas Workspace, and by the way, I'm just using the online version, but it doesn't matter which one you're using. You log into your Canvas Workspace, and if you come down to the bottom down here, where bottom right, where I'm hovering my mouse, this first little icon that looks like a page with like a little funnel on top of it is your filter. If you click that in the filter box, if you want to, go and find these projects at a later date, just in here, type leaf and say OK. And this is one of the projects that I'm going to be using today. So it's called Decorative Leaf Wreath. Okay, try saying that 3 times fast. There is a video explaining how to put it together, and this is the download where you can download all the elements. But if you look here at the bottom, you'll see there are different mats, and whenever you see these kind of right and left facing arrows, that means there are more mats within that project. So basically you've got mat A, then there's B, C. If you click on the little arrow, you'll see that there's D and E. So there's 5 mats for the leaf designs. And then there's the mat for the actual frame, which you use to assemble all the different leaf elements. And basically what they've done, they've given you 5 different mats in 5 different colours that correspond with the leaves that you're seeing in the top picture. So mat E is all the blue leaves, which you can see here. Mat D is all the pink leaves. Now, what I did, if you choose one of these mats, I'll just choose mat E for now. These designs here, although this is on a 12 by 12 mat on the screen, these designs will fit on A4 card. So basically what I did, I chose this one mat, mat E, and I downloaded it and sent it over via Wi-Fi to my ScanNCut machine. And then I literally cut this mat of designs from several different colours pieces of card, which I'll show you when I go over to my other desk in a minute. I also, let me go back to Canvas Workspace. I also downloaded mat F, which is the circle, and I cut this in its size as it is here by default from a piece of thicker card. Basically, it was a piece of card that came in the back of some 12 by 12 Stampin' Up! Designer Series paper that I bought. So I cut it from that. Now, if you've not got any thicker card, what you can do, mine was kind of like a lightweight chipboard or grey board, some people call it. You could basically just cut this circle maybe 4 times from regular cardstock and glue it together to make it a little bit more substantial. Or you could buy a wreath ring in this size, which I think is about 8.5 inches, something like that from memory, and just decorate it up with the leaves. So that's the first design I'm using. Now, if we come back to the filter box, and if I change this to Christmas and say OK, they have something within Canvas called the Christmas flower, which if I click on it, is basically leaves that make something that look like a poinsettia. And this is the other part of the design that I downloaded, but I'm not making mine in red. And when you see all the cardstock that I've cut, hopefully it will all kind of start to make a little bit more sense. But I basically want to show you that you can utilise the free designs from within Canvas Workspace and just kind of use them in a slightly different way. So let me just come back to the comments because I can see comments going up. So Joanne's saying, Brill, I never knew you could save the projects like that. Thank you. Okay. Makers Superstore saying happy anniversary, Makers. Yeah, hi everybody. Thanks for joining us, and a big thank you to Ashley. Oh, you're welcome, Makers Superstore. I honestly can't believe it was a year ago that we were all at the NEC Birmingham launching the ScanNCut SDX Disney machine. In one respect, it seems like a lifetime ago, and in another, it seems like 5 minutes ago. And I was thinking about it yesterday when I was doing my blog post, how the world has changed. I know that's a bit deep for a Saturday afternoon, but you know, with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, who could foresee when we were at the NEC 12 months ago how our crafting and life and everything would have changed. So this is the second part of my project I'm going to show today. Now, one thing I would say, if you do use the filter box, just remember to go back to the filter icon and take out any description and say okay, because if you don't, the next time you come back to Canvas and you look for the Canvas projects, you'll only have a couple of projects there and you might wonder where all your free Canvas projects have gone. So that's where to find hi Susan, that's where to find the projects that I'm going to be using today. I'm going to flip you over to my other desk now, and I'm just going to scoot myself over and hopefully make a start on making this project. So I'm just going to come over to my other desk without getting myself in the way, and just let me just bring over my iPad so I can still see your comments and things. So I've got my glue gun on, and I'm only using my glue gun just because it's a little bit quicker. Got some spare glue on the side, I've got a few bits of embellishments, and I've got my drink. Hi Denise Dodd, hope you're okay. So what have you all got a drink while you sat here going to be watching me? I've got my obligatory blackcurrant juice, which is what I normally have when I'm talking to you all doing my lives. I'm just trying to get bits of dry glue off my fingers. So I'm going to put this on one side for a minute, and I'm going to show you all the colours that I have cut for this project. So like I said, in Canvas Workspace, the project is made up of the 5 mats for the different leaves, and I just cut mat E. And then, as you can see here, these are the colours that I'm using. So, you know, don't think of it when you look at a project in Canvas. Don't just kind of take it for what it is. You know, think a little bit differently. And I decided we're in autumn, you know, the clocks have gone back here in the UK. All the leaves on the trees are all changing to beautiful colours, and I decided to just pick some random colours from my cardstock. And this is what I want to show you how to make today. So this is one mat that I've cut. Let me just put that on one side. This is another one. This is another one. So I've done 4 up to now. And then basically what I did with this last one, I cut my poinsettias, which they call the Christmas flower, but I've chosen to do mine from this kind of, it's on the screen, it's looking more yellowy than it actually is. This is more of a yellowy mustard kind of colour in real life. So I've cut my poinsettias, and then what I've done, I've taken, if I just bring this one in, you might be able to see it a little bit better. I deleted all the rest of the leaves from this mat and just chose this one here. And then I've cut extras while I was cutting the poinsettias in this kind of mustardy yellow. Okay, so they're all the colours that I'm using. Let me just bring this in. Here you'll see my wreath. So this is the board that I used, and then I covered it. I cut it again in a piece of green card, and as you can see, I've not actually quite matched up mine very well here. You can see the board underneath, but it doesn't matter because it's all going to get covered up. And then to save some time, oh, and what I've also done, the ring has 2 holes in it. Let me just try and get you, I'm just going to move my camera angle just a little bit. Okay, that's better. Okay, so the ring has 2 holes already within the design. You don't need to cut them out if you don't want, but I've left them in. You're not going to see them anyway when you start sticking all your bits and pieces all over the front. And I've just taken a piece of jute twine and fed that through, and that's how I'm going to hang mine. And then, as I say, what I've started to do is just literally stick, the different leaves on. I've bent them up. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in a few minutes, but just to save some time, I've started to stick some on. I left myself a gap here, which is where my poinsettia flowers are going to be. And then what I've also done, which I'm not sure whether you'll see it or not, I'll try and bring it up and see if you can. On the leaves, I've actually gone round all the edges of all of the leaves with a sponge and some ink. And it doesn't really matter what colour ink you use. I am using one of my Stampin' Up colours, which is called Calypso Coral, which is, as you can see from the front here, kind of orangey colour. But even though this is orange ink, I've inked up all the blue and this kind of purpley colour and all the green with this same ink. It just kind of takes the edge a little bit off the leaves being, kind of completely stark, if you like. Right, let me just see, I just want to catch up on your comments in case I'm missing everything. So Joanne's saying the poinsettias are lovely in that colour. Jojo is saying, I have my morning skinny latte. Oh, lovely. I've got my blackcurrant juice. Oh, hi, Lynn. Lynn's in sunny Spain. That's nice. We've got foul weather here today, literally. I mean, blowing a gale, heavy wind, rubbish, real rubbish weather. So it's lovely to be able to spend some time with you. Hi, Paul. Hope you're okay. So I'm going to put the poinsettias on one side for a minute, and I'm literally just going to bring in some of the leaves and just show you what I'm doing. So here's some of my green leaves, and literally I've got a sponge with a bit of paper stapled to the end of it so I don't get inky fingers. I'm just going to dump it in the ink and then literally just lightly go all the way around. And as I say, you could use green on green if you want. You don't have to be that precious, to be honest. I'll try and hold it up and see if you can see. It just kind of, let me just turn autofocus off and see if that's any better. It just puts a little dark edge around everything. And then all these shapes that are from canvas have all got dash lines down the middle, so you can literally just fold them, and that gives them a little bit of extra dimension. So quickly, that's what I'm going to do. If anybody's got any questions or wants to ask anything, while I'm doing this inking. And as I say, you might not be able to see the dash lines in the design on the camera, but it is there, and it just gives them a little bit of extra dimension. Yeah, so Paul's saying it gives the leaves more definition by using the sponge on the end of them. It definitely does. And if any of you were with me in my YouTube live a few Sundays ago, I made a I've done those. I made a pumpkin treat box from basic shapes within the machine, and this is what I did with that one. I inked all the edges. So Susan is saying I use a binder clip with the sponge, works great. Okay, what, to hold on to it? That's a good idea. I use the binder clip if I'm doing like heat embossing. So these are all done. Just need to find, as I say, because I know you don't want to sit here watching me ink all afternoon, so I've done a lot of it ahead of time. These are the ones that I'm going to tuck in at the end, these yellowy ones. So I'm just going to put these on one side. And the reason that I did the yellowy ones was because my poinsettia flower is in this colour, and I wanted, you know, to try and tie it all in together. Let me just see, I've just seen another comment. What weight of cardstock are you using? I'm using, I think it's about 220, 230 GSM, something like that. But it doesn't really matter, to be fair, because, you know, this project is probably going to, you know, be either sat on a little stand somewhere, maybe if you do that, or you're going to hang it on a wall. You know, you could use anything. You could make this in pattern paper. You really could. I've done loads of wreaths in the past over years. Wreaths are like my thing. Over the years, I've made all kinds of wreaths. I've made, you know, spring wreaths, Easter wreaths, Valentine wreaths, fabric wreaths. I've done all sorts. So you can literally make them in anything. Right, so these are the elements now that are going to make the poinsettia. What I've done, I forgot to say when I was in Canvas, I duplicated the two elements that make the poinsettia flower, and I'm cutting two at the bigger size, and then I've made one a little bit smaller. So there's going to be 3 big flowers and a smaller one, possibly, depending on if I can get them all on here. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to do exactly the same. So I'm just going to lightly ink around all the edges. I mean, I am using a kind of orange on a yellowy mustard here, so I don't want to make it too dark. But as I said, you know, it's autumn, isn't it, at the moment, and all the leaves are all multicoloured, so I think it will all kind of work together. What's Paul saying? If you choose Xmas colours, you could glitter the edges and put veins in using a gold pelt. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's how the design is in Canvas for the Christmas flower. Obviously it's in the traditional red, but you know, I just thought we'd do something a little bit different. Why not? So just, as I say, just doing a little bit more inking. Has anybody got any questions? Does anybody want to know anything? Makers are on here as well, so if you've got any questions about any of their products or anything like that, ask your questions while you've got them here. You've got a captive audience. And I do have to say, they're lovely makers. They're a lovely bunch. It's been really nice knowing them over the last 12 months. Right, so let me just put my ink pad to one side, because otherwise I'm going to end up sticking my fingers in it. So what I'm going to do now, where are my green leaves? So I need 2 of the leaves to go with the poinsettias. And these poinsettias have got a hole in the middle, so you could actually put a brad in them and put them together. I'm just actually looking, I've actually already done one. If I bring that in, so basically what I've done on this one, I've used 2 big leaves and a small leaf, so I think we'll probably go with that again, and then 2 of the green leaves for the back. So I'm going to bring in my glue gun and just try and make myself a little bit of space on my desk. And as I say, for speed, I'm just going to glue these together, but I'm just going to bend them in the middle of each one again where the dashed lines already are. Can you all see what I'm doing? I keep moving out of shot, sorry. I've moved my craft room into a different room recently. And although I'm still crafting on the same desk, I seem to just kind of keep getting myself out of shot. Right, I'm going to put a little bit of glue in the middle and just press that down. Now, I'm going to find myself some tweezers just to hold this down, otherwise I'll end up sticking my finger in hot glue. Joanne is saying, Makers, I see you have the roll feeder for the SDX. Will you at any time be stocking rolls of vinyl? Good question. Melanie, I can see saying, I'm a new subscriber. Is there a link for Makers Superstore? Melanie, it is www.makerssuperstore.com, all one word. Okay, where's my little leaves? And on their website, Melanie, they not only sell the ScanNCut SDX, but they sell all the accessories for the previous CM models as well. Currently, I think they've still got everything on their website, but they'll tell you what they've got. Right, little bit more glue. As I say, you don't need a lot. The mistake I've made over the years with hot glue is putting too much on, and then you stick your finger in it and you get, you give yourself 3rd-degree burns, which is not good, is it, for any crafter? Right, I'm going to pop these on the back, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back and pop my leaf on and just kind of hold it in place. And then I think we'll put the other one on the other side. So let me just move this in a little bit. You just want them to be able to be kind of seen, really, from the back of your flower. And then what I am going to do, because I'm not using a brad on these, I've got these little things in my stash that I've had years, and you've probably, some of you already got these. I think it was called card candy. They're like little paper, what look like the top of a brad. And somebody will tell me who made them. I can't for the life of me remember. It was that lady, wasn't it? Julie somebody. Anyway, somebody will know. Paul will probably know. So I'm just going to grab a couple of green ones if I can find them in here. I think they sold them. I can't remember whether they sold them in individual colour packs or whether they sold them in multicoloured packs, but I've just dumped mine all in this little glass jar, which is like an IKEA glass jar. Just noticed another stray leaf over there on my desk that needs a little bit of inking, so I'll do that, pop that on one side. And then what I'm going to do with these, just need to find myself a little bit of 3D foam. So I'm just going to use a little bit of 3D foam and pop this on the back of this little Craftwork cards. Thank you, Julie Hickey. There you go. I was nearly there, wasn't I? That's right, yeah. Well, do you remember these? I think they called them card candy, didn't they? I've had these years. And as I said, I've moved my craft room recently into another room. And you know when you start tidying things up and you come across stuff that you'd completely forgotten that you had. So let me see if I can just zoom you in rather than keep moving this in and out. So there is my little poinsettia flower for now, with my little bit of card candy in the middle. Bev, no, it wasn't Pinflare, it was Craftwork Cards, Julie Hickey. Okay, So that's one. So let's just do the other one quickly. So again, just going to bend up. Does anybody think they're going to have a go at this project? It really is simple, honestly. And it's just card at the end of the day, you know, but hopefully when we get this all stuck together and we finish it all, it's going to look fab. Jojo, I sell the little foam pads. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator and I sell them. I have a website and there's links to it on my website. I don't know if makers sell them or not. I don't know if they sell 3D foam pads, but if they do, you can get them from there. I'm going to put my little bit of card, my foam on there. Where's my little, let me just find my little poinsettia. I don't know whether you can see fully my desk. I don't think you can looking at the camera, but basically there's stuff all over it. I've got leaves literally all over it. So let's pop that one in there. And these don't have to be perfect, you know, because obviously flowers are not perfect, are they? You know, that's nature. So let's just put a little bit of glue on the back. Hold that in place for a minute. So Joanne's saying, yes, you're going to have a go. Brilliant. Well, if you do have a go, Joanne, I'm Apple Lover 53. You could tag me on Instagram. I think on Instagram, I'm Apple Lover 53 ScanNCut, or I'm applelover53.co.uk. You can send me pictures, and hopefully you should be able to send pictures to makers as well and show everybody, you know, what you made, your interpretation of this free design, and anybody else that has a go as well. Let us see what you made. Right, I'm just going to hold this down for a few minutes. Well, no, for a few seconds. Maker Superstore is saying, in answer to the question about the rolled vinyl, rolled material with a width of 12 inches to get designs up to 9.9 width will cut maximum. All right, okay, so they're telling you what the roll feeder will do. Joanne's saying you're going to have a go. Karen is saying, yes, I will, as I have a few cereal boxes I could use. Yes, definitely. Make sure you've got a sticky mat, Karen, or put some tape over it to make sure it's held in place. And then maybe just cut 2 from cereal board and or cereal boxes and glue them together. That would make your wreath, you know, a bit more substantial. Joanne's saying that's good to know that you sell some accessories. I couldn't find the little foam pads. Okay, like I say, I don't know whether makers sell the foam pads, but I do on my website, Joanne, and that's my website if you want to take a note of it. It's www.applelover53.co.uk, and if you go to my website, there's a shop now button at the top, and I definitely do sell the foam pads, so you won't be stuck. We'll be able to sort you out between us one way or the other. Right, let me just get this paper, and I'm using black foam pads here just because they were the nearest ones in my drawer, but we also sell them in white. So let's see what we can do. Let's move them out of the way. So I've got my 3 poinsettias. I think I might need to zoom you back out a little bit. I'm just going to move my little silicone mat out of the way and put my glue gun on it so that if it does start to leak, I won't get glue all over my desk. And then I'm just going to bring any stray leaves I've got back in. So this is the top of my wreath, and my thinking was that I was going to pop my poinsettias kind of like in this bottom corner, like so. Okay. And then I've got all these extra leaves. I've got the yellow ones that are in the same colour as these, and I'm going to tuck them in. So I think what I'll do, I'll stick these down first, and then that'll give me a starting point for my poinsettias. So I'm just going to hold that down. And obviously what you can do, because of, you know, this is only card and paper, you can bend your leaves up to give yourself a bit more room. you know, whatever you want really. I'm going to pop one down here, and just by popping that little bit of card candy in the middle, it kind of just finishes off the flower a little bit. But like I say, if you've got brads, you could use brads. If you've got any, you know, bling or pearls, you know, you could pop a pearl in the middle, or a, you know, like a little gem or a button, anything really. What we say, I'm trying to, just looking at comments. So I've just seen Karen saying I've just re-tacked my mat. Katie, hi Katie, is saying I think I might have a go at this with my grandchildren. Definitely. And as I say, you don't have to use hot glue. You could use, you know, normal glue. It would be fine. So I'm going to pop that one so that it kind of hangs off in the middle a bit. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to put the glue on the wreath rather than on here, because otherwise if I put it on the back of the poinsettia and I put it in the wrong place, I'll probably stick the poinsettia to my desk. And that's not necessarily a good look either, is it? So let's just kind of manipulate the leaves. Let me just turn this over and make sure. Yeah, okay, so I've got my 3 poinsettias, and then I've got all these extra leaves in different colours and the yellow ones. So what I'm basically going to do now, don't think, can I zoom you out anymore? Just so you can see the whole thing. Is that better? What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to start tucking these leaves in to fill in the gaps. But again, I'm going to use hot glue just a little bit on the back. Don't worry about your hot glue strings. You know, they'll come off when they dry. You can pull them all off. And because the cutting file has given you all different leaf sizes and styles, it just adds to the overall effect of the design. Look, I've got string all over me from the hot glue. So let's just see where we're going to tuck a few more of these. So we'll put one in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, the design that was in Canvas was nice as it was, you know, in the colourway that it was. But I just thought I'd do it in autumn colours. So I'm just going to be tucking and filling in now. Anybody got any other questions or suggestions for future videos that you want to see? I'm just going to break the end of that leaf off there because it's a little bit long. No one's going to know, are they? Okay, let's see what we've got. So I think I might tuck. No, I don't want that one there. Tuck that one in there, I think. So let's see. I'm going to break the end of that leaf off because I don't think it needs to go in that far. So I'm literally just bending and sticking to give it a little bit of dimension. And then these yellow ones, as I said before, that I cut from the same colour as the poinsettias, I'm going to just tuck them in from the inside, I think, just to fill in the gaps. Where's my tweezers? So let's see how this is going to look. Might put one on the outside over here. Just hold that down with my tweezers. And pop that one under there so it kind of just sticks out. What we're thinking so far? Do you like the look of it so far? See, we'll have a couple up here. So from what I'm hearing on the news this morning, going back to our COVID situation, we could be all going into lockdown again. So if anybody has got any ideas for any future videos or anything you want to see, let me know. Right, I think I've exhausted all the leaves. So let's just hold that one down. You know, you could cut as many or as few. I wouldn't, as I say, they've got 5 mats worth. So I cut, what did I say? I cut 3 and a bit. And then, but I've used a lot of the space up for mine with the poinsettias. You know, they didn't have anything other than leaves on theirs. So I probably wouldn't go any less than 5 mats. But if you're going to use the poinsettias, do at least 3 mats worth of leaves and then do your poinsettias. You can always go back and cut more. I can see I've got a little bit of a gap just at the top here. So I might go back and cut a couple more of these yellow leaves and, you know, tuck a couple in there. But let me just move the hot glue gun out of the way and clear my desk a little bit. What do you think? So that's how it's looking. And then the only other thing that I am going to do to this is I've got some shimmer spray, which is just like a light glitter spray basically, and I'm just going to put a fine mist of glitter spray over it. Well, it's not glitter, it's just like a shimmery effect it gives it. So I think, let me just move, I've got bits of hair and bits of glue. Let's just move some of these gluey strings. Trying to get it so that you can actually see it all. I'll try and zoom in a little bit, but I don't want to go too close because you're probably not going to get to see everything. So let me just move it back a little bit and I'll show you the bottom half. So what do you think? So we've got the poinsettias. As I say, you know, you can fluff them up a bit more because they do get a little bit flattened when you start gluing them down. So let me just fluff up these petals a bit more and just kind of make it work for you. So that's the bottom half. You don't need to put the poinsettias on, or you could put more on and put some up at the top to balance it out a little bit more. I just fancied mine being in the bottom corner. And then if I just bring it down a little bit, and then that's the top. So all made from card. So plain card, you know, that most people have probably got in the stash. I just happen to have chosen, you know, like this kind of deep purpley colour, the orange, a dark green, this kind of like petrol blue colour. Let me zoom back out again so hopefully you can get a better view of the whole thing. What I will do after we go off air, I'll take a picture of it and I'll try and get it uploaded onto the Makers Superstore, onto this Facebook page, and then I'll try and post it on my Instagram as well so you can see it. So that's it really. So I'll give you an idea of my finished size. You know, now I've got all my leaves on. So I'm guessing it's probably at least 12 inches wide and probably about the same. So, you know, depending on how far you stick your leaves out, it'll end up being bigger. I've kind of kept mine, if I turn it over and you have a look at the back, I've kept mine not too far out, and you can see obviously some are you know, are on the inside. So as I say, I think that's, let me just measure that. Let me turn that over and measure this. This is, oh, it's bigger than I thought. It's nearly 10 inches. I thought it was only about 8.5 inches, that circle. So it was a 10-inch circle, which obviously is in the design. And all the leaves from canvas, the Christmas flower, which is from canvas, and just all made with card. Right, what we're saying, Paul's saying, love the colours. Yeah, I'd like a shimmery spray. Melanie, I make mine. I'll tell you how I make it and I'll show you just before we wind up. I sell these. These are called spray mist bottles. These are in my Stampin' Up shop. And this is called Champagne Mist, and it's an ink basically. And all as you do, you put a little pea-size amount into a container. I've put mine in these. And then you, on this particular one of mine, for the little pea size amount that you pour in, I do about 3/4 of 70% rubbing alcohol, and then you make sure you give it a good mixing up, and then literally you spray it on. I'll try and do it. Just let me see if I can just do it over my bin. I don't know how well it'll show up on the camera. You literally just mist it, and it's going to look wet initially. Let's see if I can zoom you in. I don't know if you're going to get to see. The spray doesn't always show up. Can you see it glimmering here? And on the blue leaves here, if I just move it down a little bit, it just adds a little glimmery sparkle. So that's champagne mist and rubbing alcohol, and just made in a little stamping spritzer that I sell. So that's it. Did you like the project? I can see thumbs up and I can see some hearts. What's the web address for your shop, please? Apple Lover 53, sorry. Okay, so for Joanne, if you go to my website, which is applelover53.co.uk, there's a Stampin' Up tab. You can click on that and find shop, or at the top of the page it says shop 24/7, and that'll take you directly to my Stampin' Up shop. And I sell Stampin' Up supplies, which is where you can get things like the 3D foam, the champagne mist and that kind of thing. So has anybody got any last minute questions or suggestions for future videos? Because if not, I've been on nearly an hour. I don't want to take up any more of your Saturday afternoon time. I will photograph this. I'll try and get it onto the Makers Facebook page here, and I will also try and get it onto my Instagram. And if you do use Instagram, a quick plug, Apple Lover 53 ScanNCut. Go and follow me over there, or follow me on my YouTube channel, which is also Apple Lover 53.